Project for today is going to be finishing up Phyllis here. It's a 91 Polaris Indy Sport 440 fan. It was missing the seat. When I got it, it had a seat, but the mice had gotten into it and they ate all the foam and everything, so you could just push down on the cover and there was just nothing there. But I've got this seat. It's off of a 97 Polaris XLT 600, and the tank is kind of part of the whole seat assembly here. So I'm going to clean out this tank and then we'll see if we can get this whole assembly to go on here. I already put a new fuel line in this tank, so I'll just swap that over to this one. The threads should be the same to thread that in there. And then we'll see, we'll have to drill probably some new holes in the back of the tunnel here for bolting it down. And then the front half, I'm not sure how we'll do that, if that's just gonna fit in there where I don't need anything holding it down, or this has like a spring that goes around it. So, but I'll get you set up and we'll get started cleaning that tank out first and then trying to fit it on here. So I've already dumped as much as I could out. Now I got this little grabber deal and I'm gonna just keep soaking up what I can in there. There's some water in there and stuff. So we'll just keep doing that until we get it clean. I'll probably speed through most of this stuff, and then once we get into actually assembling it, I'll slow it back down for you. Well, I got it nice and clean in there. You can kind of see if I can get the light just right, and then I blew a bunch of compressed air in there to dry it out even further. So now we should be able to start swapping tanks. Sorry about the furnace running in the background, but I'm in kind of a hurry here, so I just want to get this off of here. It's just these two bolts like we did in the other video. If I would have known I'd be swapping this, I wouldn't have cleaned this tank. I would have cleaned the other one. So we got, one of our bolts fell out, which is actually okay because I want to get rid of that because we're not going to be using these bolts. There's a retainer. Wasn't much of that left. It was rusted off. It was good enough to hold it when we wanted it to. So now we should be able to slide this tank back. There's that spring up in the front. That off of there. And I do shut the fuel off. We'll pull the fuel line right here. Those clamps I used, they fit really tight. There we go. Get that off of there. I'll be able to slide that backwards. Then I'll be able to get a wrench on that, pop that out of there and put that in the other tank. And there's still fuel in this tank, so I'll have to drain that over into the other one. Get that out of there. I'll slide that down into the new tank. You don't really want to reef these down when they're just going into that plastic like that. So get that in there, So now we should be able to start trying to get that to fit on here. I'll slide this tank on there. I did brush the tunnel off a little bit. We got our taillight wiring is a little bit longer than what we need, but I'll just tuck it in. And get it to plug in. It's a little bit corroded. There we go. Now I'll have to get it close. Get that fuel line on the front. It's going to be kind of tough to get in there. Might have to get a pliers, grab that fuel line with. Can't really get you down in there. I could barely get a hand down in there to grab the fuel line. I could probably pull the air box and stuff, but I kind of just wanted to do the minimal amount that I have to do here. But I might end up having to pull that. I think I can get my hand down in here, I guess. Got it on there. Might have to grab a different pliers so I get this clamp though. Yeah, I'll have to get a long needle nose to get that clamp. So one thing you can never have too many of is different size pliers and needle nose and all that stuff. And vice grips and there we go. Slide that forward. It doesn't really fit in there quite like it should. Oh, there it kind of went. I could tuck this in. I was hoping I could still use I can just about still use the there. I can use the buttons that they had down there for the other tank. This side might be a little more difficult with that toolbox in the way. And we've got this spring. I should have pulled that out of there when I had the tank out. You look down in here, we've got a hole there and a hole there. So I'm going to shine the light underneath and see if we can see light up through, which I don't think we have light anywhere where the holes actually are in the tunnel here, so I'm going to have to, yeah, they're way in the back compared to what these are, so I'm going to have to drill new ones, which isn't too big of a deal as long as I can get a drill in here. So I'll do that, and then the seat should be mounted up because there was nothing in the front really other than those buttons on the other one that just kind of wedged in the front here. I can still get to my pull cord. And I do want to adjust these handlebars too. They're tilted down way too far. It must have been like a kid or something, that somebody with shorter arms that was riding it. So I'm going to try to drill up through the bottom here. It's hard to really see what I'm doing here. I have to go up farther, but I can't fit the drill in here. I'm going to have to find a shorter drill bit or something in order to drill holes, because otherwise I can't really go through the toolbox here unless I have some kind of weird setup on the drill. So I'll have to find a shorter drill bit. I couldn't find too much of a shorter drill bit, but I do have this old Black & Decker drill it might be good enough. And I think I can go through the existing holes and go up through. There, that worked. A little bit crooked, but it'll work. That is a super dull drill bit. It barely drilled through the plastic. So now I'll see if I can find some bolts to go through that. I think I found a couple of bolts that'll work. I've got some locking nuts. You guys can probably see better than I can. There's kind of an air gap between the seat and the tunnel here. Maybe I'd be better off going from the top. That's not long enough either. Let's try this one more time. I think I probably went too long this time, but yeah, that should work. I've got some locking nuts to put on them so they don't rattle loose. They kind of fit tight through the plastic, so kind of holds them up in there. I'll grab a wrench and we can tighten them down. I get a wrench up in the top. We got one of them. There, that's pretty solid. Didn't squish into the tunnel or anything. I didn't want to over tighten them since there is that air gap. You can see they do stick up through here. I probably should have put them the other way, but where that hole was drilled, if I went through the top, it was at an angle so I could get it up through the bottom, but the top was hard to line up. So now we'll put some gas in that tank. Oh, and I want to adjust them handlebars, and then we can make sure it still fires up. I'll probably clean that seat up a little bit. So these bars, this pad is just Velcro on here, and then we can, I'll just leave that, I guess. Well, it comes off easy enough. Sometimes when you un-Velcro them though, they're really hard to get back in place. So these are just some Allen bolts up top, and looks like some 7/16 down below. We'll loosen those and we'll turn those bars up some. So the reason I'm getting this all ready is this is February right now, and we haven't been able to really ride. We haven't had any snow. So we're supposed to get some snow this weekend. So we're gonna go ride. The trails probably won't be open, but we're gonna go ride on some private property. So I'll get some footage of us riding. Hopefully if we actually get the snow they're saying. Oh, these are, I don't know if they're corroded or if I just need to loosen it more. They all seem pretty loose. There they go. I think I'll put them about like that. That feels pretty comfortable. I think they might be bent a little bit. Somebody probably rolled this thing at one time or another. That's one of the things with a lot of these smaller sleds. This is the same model sled that I had when I was a kid, and they just beat the crap out of them. I know I did anyway. When you're younger, you don't think about what you're breaking and stuff like that. It's just about having fun, which it still kind of is, but if there's not a lot of snow, we would still just go ride them no matter what. And then when it was really warm out too, we would ride. That's pretty hard on, especially these fan tools. The colder it is, the better they run. Which is another thing I was gonna bring up, is you do wanna pull these covers off of here and check for mouse nests and stuff. In the last video, there was a comment on there saying that I should have brought that up on the last one, which is true. The fan is down here and it blows air up through and it comes out that side. That's why you saw like leaves and junk flying out there when I first got it started. So there could be stuff under here, but I don't have time right now to take this off, so I am gonna blow it out though. I did look down in there and there wasn't anything in there really, but we'll make sure at another time, I'll make sure that I get that off and actually get it cleaned out really good. It's just, I think it's like 3 bolts back here, 4 on top, and a couple in the front. Just another thing to check. It's basically just like checking your coolant on a liquid cooled. That's your coolant, is the air. So if you're not getting the airflow across it, you're going to overheat the thing and burn it down. So I'm going to hose this seat down some. This is actually just like a glass and dash cleaner. I'm hoping that'll clean this up a little bit. I've used like Armor All before, but that makes the seat so slippery that it's not really the ideal thing to use. But I think this will clean up pretty good. And a lot of the stuff will wear off too, just from riding. But man, you can see how dirty that was, but that's looking a lot better. Do the back here. The sides aren't quite as bad, but I suppose if this thing sat outside, the top collected all the junk. Probably just gonna call that good for now. We should be good to go riding this weekend. All right, I got the sled running outside. We're gonna load it up on the trailer and get ready to go. Well, it didn't go too bad. It didn't get the traction on there, but the track's not studded or anything, so that's probably why. So I think we're ready to tie her down and head out. Well, we got some fresh snow, and now I can go test this thing out again in some actual deeper snow. Well, she runs pretty good. The hand warmers did quit working on me, so I'll have to deal with that. And then that one right front shock is bad on it. But other than that, it ran really good, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that's going to do it for this one. If you like this sort of thing, like the videos and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.